Democrats asking, where has this version of Kamala Harris been for the last 3.5 years? Are the Democrats back from the brink?
Yeah, no. First of all, this version is sort of the best version you're going to see of Kamala Harris, because this is her honeymoon period where she's going to get the most positive coverage. And then after that, voters are going to focus on her record. And she was the co-pilot to Joe Biden's economy, which has led to an affordability crisis in the United States, which has led to inflation wiping out any earnings that anybody has made in the last 4 years. So at the end of the day, there's probably a little bit of a sugar high with her coming out and consolidating the Democratic vote just before the convention. But when voters start to pay attention, they're reminded that she was the co-pilot in Joe Biden's economy. We'll bring her back down to earth pretty fast.
It's fascinating because the Democrats are really seeking to rebrand Kamala Harris, but at the same time, Republicans attempting to do the same as well. So what do you see as her strengths and weaknesses in the battle against Donald Trump as we track into November?
Yeah, there's no rebranding Kamala Harris. I mean, she's a known entity, and so that's where they're stuck with her record. In fact, that's probably why Joe Biden spent the last month, contemplating whether to stay in or drop out of the race, because he knew Kamala could not be rebranded. The reality is Kamala Harris trying to bring San Francisco values into the United States is completely outside the mainstream. So the strengths that she has is going to be the next week, because that's probably the most positive coverage she's going to receive, because it shows the consolidation of the Democratic Party. The weaknesses is definitely her record. Her record as vice president. I mean, she was the border czar, which led to a complete collapse of our border. We shouldn't be surprised. She was the DA from a sanctuary city in the United States, which basically let go illegal immigrants who were committing crimes. And so I think that's going to be her weakness. One of the issues that the American people are paying attention to and want results is immigration, because our border seems to be broken. And as the immigration czar, she led to the fracturing of our border, and she led, her actions led to the result of nearly 8 million illegal aliens coming into this country. That matters more than the sugar high that we're going to see of the most positive coverage she's probably received in her entire career.
Bryan, I understand your point, but at the same time, she's also running against Donald Trump. And this race is being framed as a battle between a prosecutor and a felon. And that's something that she's going to seek to exploit. But on another point here, of course, she also continues to vet possible VP picks at the same time as running this campaign. How critical is her choice of VP in ultimately determining which way she moves the party, either to the right or to the left, on some of these really key issues like the economy, like the border, like abortion rights as well?
I would say this, that the VP plays no role in what her policy positions are going to be. And so VP is not going to moderate her. She is, quite frankly, the most liberal candidate in the last 100 years that America has seen. She's more liberal than Barack Obama. She's more liberal than Jimmy Carter. She's more liberal than Bill Clinton. And we're not a liberal country. I mean, we're not a country that represents San Francisco values, which is where she's from. And so she's going to have that challenge. Sure, she's running against President Trump, and they're going to bring in VPs, whether it's Governor Shapiro, whether it's Governor Bashar in Kentucky. But at the end of the day, historically VPs have very rarely played a role in moving the votes. What they've done is they've sort of reinforced base. So it doesn't matter whether she chooses a liberal or a more liberal, because that's basically what we have in the Democratic Party. The reality is her positions and her views are very much outside the mainstream of the United States.